Hey guys, Camfrey15 back it up with another video for you guys, and I am back with another One Piece anime episode review for you guys. As I'm going to be talking about last week's episode, because this week's episode, One Piece was just another glorified recap episode. Your typical glorified recap of One Piece in terms of shit that has not that covers the past few episodes, but yeah, wow, we finally get to this part. And this is the part that I was so excited to finally see animated. And that is one of the Gorosei members, the five elders, finally revealing what they look like, what their transformation truly look like. And you have it where Saint Saturn looks like a damn spider. And that is one of the, I think, yeah, one of the five slash actually one of the six, right, forms that Sabo clearly saw in the throne room. The others were silhouetted, including Emu. That's why I said six, because Emu clearly has a transformation. We just don't know what it looks like, but it probably is a horrifying one. And I think for anime only you viewers, you're still shocked of like, bro, what the hell is this? So let's get to it, right? So obviously the last episode, they foreshadowed that Saturn was gonna get involved finally. So you had it where the Frontier Dome is dropped for a bit so they can let Vegapunk, Atlas, Frankie, and Sanji go down below to go find Bonnie to save her and then bring her back up, right? And then so they're basically driving down. They're like, "Hey Bonnie, where's Bonnie? We can't see Bonnie," and everything. Eventually, they do see her, or one before they do see her, before Sanji, uses his observation hockey to find her. Um, basically, Atlas basically screams out saying like, "Hey, pacifistas, attack the Navy. Excuse me, attack the Navy now." And the pacifistas hear that and they start attacking the Navy members, because remember, the hierarchy is now that the hierarchy is the fact that, now the Vegapunk's got everybody back in control now. So that's the thing, right? So, the Vegapunks got the pacifistas back in control, and they're attacking the Navy, and it's creating enough of distraction, and Bonnie's able to escape, right, and everything. But the thing is, Bonnie is still running from a few vice admirals of the Navy, right? Now Sanji is using his observation hockey to try to find um, Bonnie. Eventually, he does. Now you do have it to where one of the vice admirals, Bluegrass, right, that old lady, right? She was actually riding this one freaking pacifista, and apparently her devil fruit ability is she's able to control whatever she rides, right? So that's how this one pacifista is not under the control of Vegapunk. She literally just overrid it because she's riding on top of it. Now Bonnie again, yet again, freezes up, because again the pacifista looks like Kuma, her father, and she was legitimately about to get freaking like probably killed right then and there. But Sanji comes in the nick of time to save Bonnie, and everything. And he kind of tells Bonnie, he's like, "Hey Bonnie, look, I know that's your father, but you got to snap out of it. Like, this is life or death situation for us right now. Because if otherwise, like, if you can't, then we're gonna have a problem." Other vice admirals get involved and everything, but Sanji is basically carrying Bonnie to safety. Eventually Vegapunk comes down with Atlas and Frankie, or not Frankie, Atlas, and essentially they get back onto the car, and everything. So they basically, get ready to head back up so they can start the preparation to get out of there. So yeah, now in the meantime, Nami and the gang with who are up in the basically the lab area, they're basically like, all right, they got Bonnie. Let's prepare and get out of here. They put Robin on this cart because she can't move because she was badly injured from the incidents of what happened the night before and everything. But then that's when Stussy basically says, "Hey, you guys go on ahead. I'm going to frickin' stay here and I'm going to frickin' just do what I need to do right now." You just have it to where they're just like, "Are you okay?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then that's the stuff. And basically you have it to where one of the Vegapunk clones is just like, "Look, if that's what she wants to do, that's what she wants to do." Stussy is still okay, even though she did get fingered by Lucci, get your mind out of the gutter, then everything. So as they're leaving, Nami does say like, "Hey, we'll see you later then." And you just have it where Stussy's walking. So who knows what Stussy's plan is doing now. This is when we cut back to Saint Saturn, and he's just like, "All right, it's time that I do the whole Thanos like thing." Is like, I guess since these people are incompetent, I guess I have to get off my ass and do it myself, huh? Now we do cut over to Lucci versus Zoro, and you just see how like basically they're just kind of at a stalemate and everything. And in the meantime, we also get Luffy versus Kizaru and everything, and you're just cutting back between that and Saturn as he's getting here and everything. Now the fight is going crazy between Luffy and Kizaru and everything. So again, Kizaru still doesn't understand. It's like, I don't get why a pirate like you is trying to protect Vegapunk. Like, you're a pirate. And Luffy's just like, look, that's just my mission I was given, so that's what I'm doing. Also, Kizaru does make the mention, like, like, he's like, you're barely holding up there, so that's the thing. And you can kind of tell, like, Luffy's clearly getting exhausted by staying in Gear 5 too long, because he's starting to sweat bullets and everything, and he's starting to get exhausted and everything. So yeah, eventually this blinding light shows up and everything. So all of a sudden, you just have it. It starts with Chopper. Now Chopper, and then followed by Jimmy, and then some other Straw members. They're like, the frick is this pressure? This presence? It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good, right? Freaking, you have it to where Kizaru, Luffy, Zoro, and Lucci, they're just like, the hell is that? And you just have it to where you have it to where Saturn actually says, an order to the pacifistas, and says, I want the pacifistas to all stand down. You're gonna follow my order, right? And this pillar of fire just shows up and everything, right? And you just have it to where one of the admirals, right? Or one of the vice admirals say, hey, if you're under the rank, I think of like a commodore or something like that, you're not allowed to look at Saint Saturn. You can't look at him. Just turn away, get back to the ships, and turn away. You can't look at him whatsoever, right? And then you just have it to where like this electricity is coming down, this weird thing. Oh yeah, I forgot Frankie is with them. Is going crazy. No, Vegapunk's trying to get back up to the Labo phase and everything, right? So that's the thing. Now Vegapunk's driving up because Frankie and Sanji are just like, wait, what the hell is going on? And Vegapunk's like, that's one of the five elders. And because he makes a mention, like, they clearly taught let the pacifistas are not under our control anymore. That's the only other people that could get in control of the pacifistas because they're a higher rank of me. And that's what Vegapunk's saying. And he's like, he's basically like, they came to this island and everything, right? Now, they do cut to Bonnie's face. Bonnie is like shocked because she's like, five elders, what the hell? You'll see that. Now, this like freaking, how can I say, summoning circle shows up at the blue, and then you just have it to where this weird blob is like forming, and it's clearly Saint Saturn. And he's forming, and the dude is literally a man spider. his design, his upper torso area is basically like his regular look with just more of a flowy beard. And then his leg parts is literally that of a spider or a tarantula, whatever you want to call it, right? And then he also has the awakening, like, I guess, cloud or flame around him, something that was similar to Luffy's Gear 4 and Gear 5, and then even Rob Lucci's awakening devil fruit, right? Same exact thing. Now, some other Navy soldiers who, for whatever reason, stuck around and didn't listen to order, they're like, what the hell is that? That is a monster. What is that? And basically, immediately, Saturn just looks at this dude and I'm guessing kills this guy right then and there. Just kills this guy, not kills him right then and there, because he was not supposed to look at him, right? And it's absolutely crazy. And this dude, it's absolutely insane. Now, Luffy is still fighting against. Now you have it to where Luffy is still fighting against Kizaru. Kizaru actually saw Vegapunk right under the cloud. He basically blows up the cloud to make Vegapunk's ship fall down, right? And Luffy's just like, "Hey, you ain't supposed to do that, right?" He gets back involved in the fight, and he basically does one of his final attacks to take out Kizaru. He basically twists his body, and he uses this move called Gum Gum Star Gun. And he actually hockeys up his hand, and he uses it against Kizaru. It actually hits Kizaru, like, you can even see it because he turns objects into rubber. Like, the hand is going basically through Kizaru's head, and Kizaru's like, this is not good. And he swings Kizaru basically back, right, into this building, and maybe in Kizaru, for all intents and purposes, could be done. Luffy's like, well, that's good. And then he just deforms out of Gear 5 and basically, is just an old man Luffy, right? Now, Saturn actually saw this, and he saw all this happening and everything. He's like, Nita. So yes, now, eventually, because of when Kizaru destroyed the cloud, Vegapunk and the others fell down to the ground, and they're standing like right in front of Saturn right there. Now, Saturn, after looking at Luffy, is like, I'll kill him later. He looks down, he's like, I thought you were already dead, Vegapunk, but clearly that's not the case, right? And they're just like, everybody in the vicinity is like, what in the blue hell is that? Now, Bonnie sees this, and she recalls back to the flashbacks of her father's backstory, which we're going to be starting the backstory this up next Sunday, right? With the Kuma backstory. And essentially she grabs a sword, and the episode ends with Bonnie impaling Saturn. Saturn was bleeding, and she impales him, basically trying to get revenge on, what happened in the past. And clearly Bonnie saw what happened in the past to Kuma. Excuse me. And she goes after Saturn and stuff like that, and that's where the episode ends off. If I was reviewing this episode next week, I would have said that we got a freaking recap, a glorified recap episode. But this next Sunday we'll be back to the main story, and we'll start the very emotional Kuma backstory. For my anime only fans, for One Piece, when I tell you this is probably one of the most emotional, if not darkest, and actually one of the most emotional, one of the most saddest, and if not probably the darkest One Piece backstory in the entire series, plain and simple. With the themes that they put in this backstory regarding Kuma and everything, I'm telling you, man, after I got done writing this freaking backstory in the manga, legitimately, I was just like, oh, this might be the darkest backstory we have revealed yet, because again, I'm not going to say spoilers, but when I mean it's the darkest backstory, like, for Kuma, like, when I mean Kuma's backstory is dark, there's like some elements in the backstory that like legitimately actually are like real world like type of shit, and everything. And I'll say, like, there's a lot of fucked up shit that happens in his backstory that makes it dark, and you truly see like how dark Oda can get this story to be when he incorporates like really these sadistic type things, characters in the backstory due to Kuma are you know, in terms of how it affects Kuma as a character. But yeah, still to this day, I came out of that. Still to this day, I still believe that, you know, his backstory is definitely probably the darkest backstory of all of One Piece up to this point in time. But we'll just have to see. I personally think the darkest will more than likely be the Void Century backstory, because we'll clearly see how the hell the ancient kingdom fell, and then how the hell the world government took over, and you already know that's gonna be freaking dark as all get up, right? But Kuma for the time being is darkest, but I can't wait to talk about that starting next week. So when you guys want to get that, so hit that subscribe button, and you'll be able to catch that review. But I'm gonna go for guys, catch you guys in the next video. Till then guys, stay safe out there and have a great rest of your day or your night, or whenever you're checking out this video. Till then guys, stay safe out there and hit that subscribe if you want to get more One Piece content. Till then guys, peace.